Alright, so now that we know a little bit more about quadrilaterals, we're going to focus today on sorting quadrilaterals and working on different kinds of shapes that are not quadrilaterals as well. So we're going to start here by sorting these shapes into two groups. It wants us to use colored pencils, which we kind of have here, to color each group a different color, and then just decide how we sorted them. So there's a lot of different ways you could sort these. There's no wrong way to do it. Something I see right away that I think I'm going to use is I'm going to try to circle all the ones that have three sides of the same length. So there's one, looks like this one has all three sides that are the same length, and it looks like this one. So those three could be in a group together, and the rest would be in their own group since they don't have all three sides the same length. Now we could ignore that, and we could pick a different thing to go by, something different. We could say, let's choose all the ones that have those right angles, those perfect corners we talked about in the last lesson. If we were going to put those in a group together, this guy has a perfect corner right there, so he would count. It looks like this guy has a perfect corner, so he would count. Maybe this guy right here would count. And I think that's it. This one looks like it's a little too big to be a perfect corner, a little too small. This one looks like it's a little too big to be a perfect corner. So those would be in their own group and the others would be left out, just depending on how you sort them. Now there's no wrong way to sort them. What this activity wants you to do is just practice telling the differences between shapes, sorting shapes, and then deciding how you sorted them. Now if we were going to look back at this and decide what fraction of the triangles above have each attribute, we could pick each of these things out. For just time, we'll just choose one, but you can always pause and choose more than one if you want to use more than one. And I'm just going to erase these so we'll have some space to work again. So if we were going to say what fraction of the triangles have all sides that are equal in length, let's grab our marker again. Remember we said this one, and this one have all sides of equal length. So how many total have sides of equal length? 1, 2, 3. Out of how many total shapes are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 3/12 of those shapes have all sides equal length. Now you could pause the video here and you could figure out the fraction that had no sides equal length, exactly 2 equal angles, or 1 right angle. You could pause that, go through here, practice. This is just a little bit of extra practice on fractions since we haven't seen that in a little while. On this page, Ethan, he made 2 groups of polygons. How are the groups different and how are they alike? Well, let's look at group 1 over here. These are the rhombuses. They are rhombuses because they have 2 sets of parallel sides, and all 4 sides are the same length. Now, you probably noticed this one and this one are actually squares also. Remember, squares can still be considered rhombuses. A square is the most specific name I can give this shape, but we can still call it a rhombus because it does still have all the things that a rhombus has to have. It just has a more specific name of a square also. And then group 2 over here, we have trapezoids. Remember, trapezoids can only have one set of those parallel sides, one set of sides that will never ever touch. This is a type of trapezoid you might not have seen before, but even though it looks a little different, it still only has that one set of parallel sides. It has 4 sides, so it still is considered a trapezoid. Think about how they're alike or different. Well, all the shapes have 4 sides, even though they're in different groups. There are sets of parallel sides in both shapes. Even though trapezoids only have 1 set and rhombuses have 2, there still are parallel lines in each shape in both of those groups. Obviously, they're different because some of them have perfect corners. These all have sides of equal length. These do not. So there's just a couple different ways they're alike and different. You could probably think of more than what I just listed too. Draw a quadrilateral that does not belong to either group 1 or group 2. Explain. So we want to draw something that's not a rhombus and not a trapezoid. So this shape here, a rectangle, is not a rhombus because it doesn't have 4 sides of equal length. It is not a trapezoid because it has 2 sets of parallel sides. Now you also could draw like a funky quadrilateral too that doesn't have any parallel sides, and that would also not belong to either one of those groups. There's a couple right answers to this one, but an easy quadrilateral that has a name is a rectangle, and it does not belong to either one of those groups. It's not a rhombus and it's not a trapezoid. Alright, Nellie drew a group of rectangles and a group of trapezoids. And she wants to know, how are the shapes in each group different? Well, let's think. Rectangles. We just talked about what we know about those. They have 2 sets of parallel sides. They have 2 sets of sides that are the same length, meaning opposite sides are the same length. These are the same length as these. And they have 4 of those perfect corners, so 4 right angles. Trapezoids only have 1 set of parallel sides. They don't have those perfect right angles. All the sides are not the same length. So if we were going to talk about how they were different, we might say, you know, these rectangles have right angles, they have 2 sets of parallel sides, and they have 2 sets of opposite sides that are the same length. If we were going to talk about the trapezoid group, we might say they have 1 set of parallel sides, they have no perfect right angles, or they don't always have right angles, I should say, because they can. This is still a trapezoid, even though it has that right angle, but they don't always have right angles, so we could say that. And we could say they don't have 2 sets of sides the same length, 4 total, but 2 sets, 2 pairs. Okay? How are rectangles and trapezoids alike? Well, if we look back at our drawings here, guess what? They still both have 4 sides on them. Okay, they still both have some parallel lines in them. Yes, rectangles have more sets, but they still both have parallel lines in them. They're both polygons, because remember, just to be a polygon, you have to be a closed-off figure with straight sides. You might even be able to think of some more ways that they are alike. What larger group of polygons do all of those shapes belong to? So if we were to call this or this, what do they both belong to? Okay, well, they're not squares, they're not both rectangles, they're not both rhombuses, they're not both parallelograms, because this only has 1 set of parallel sides, but they are all quadrilaterals. So if we were going to name both of those, that's the most specific name we could give both of those. Alright, number 4, draw a shape that belongs to Ethan's group 1. So if we were back on the page where Ethan was talked about, remember his group 1 was rhombuses. So we want to draw a rhombus. Okay, so remember, a rhombus has to have 4 sides of equal length, 2 sets of parallel sides. So that's a great rhombus. Also, this is a rhombus. Even though it's a square, it's still going to be considered a rhombus. It still fits all of those attributes. It does have a specific name of a square, but we can still think of it as a rhombus also. Draw a shape that belongs to Ethan's group 2. His group 2 was full of trapezoids. So remember, 1 set of parallel sides. If we go back to our question on this page, draw a shape that belongs to group 2. So we would want to draw a trapezoid. That would work. Something like this would work, as long as it has that 1 set of parallel sides that would never touch, and then 1 set that are not parallel. Then it would be a trapezoid. And then he wanted to ask, why was there a square in group 1 on that page? Remember, group 1 was the rhombuses. So why is it okay that there's a square included in the rhombus group? Well, remember from last section, in order to be a rhombus, all you have to have is 4 sides equal length, And you have to have two sets of parallel sides. So, technically, doesn't a square fit those attributes? It technically does have four sides of the same length, and it does have two sets of parallel sides. Yes, we can name it a square because it has those four right angles, but we can also still consider a square a type of rhombus. And remember, I think in the last section I was starting to kind of draw that pyramid, and I said at the top you could think of polygons, and then I said if you kind of branch off from there you can think of quadrilaterals, which I'm just going to write quad. You know, maybe triangles would be another group of that, pentagons, you know, all different shapes of different number of sides. And then within quadrilaterals you have certain things. Inside of there you have parallelograms, which I'll just abbreviate parallel, and inside of parallelograms you have rhombus, inside of rhombus you have square, also inside of parallelograms you have a rectangle. Okay, so you're kind of seeing how this pyramid works. If something is a square, it's also a rhombus, it's also a rectangle, it's also a parallelogram, it's also a quadrilateral. A square is just the most specific name that we can give it. So yeah, it's still considered a rhombus. So that might be like crazy over your head for right now, but if you really want to see kind of how that pyramid works, then you can look one up on the internet, and it'll be a much neater one than the one Miss Arnold chicken scratched on her paper right there, and it'll kind of explain to you. Of course, we're spelling it wrong. It'll explain to you the difference in those types of quadrilaterals. So here's one that I found. It's a little more specific than we necessarily need to, but here's kind of what I was drawing right here, that the square is a rectangle, it is a rhombus, it is a parallelogram. A parallelogram is the most specific name we can give that. We can't call it a square because not all parallelograms are squares, but all squares are parallelograms. So the farther something is to the bottom of this, the more specific name it can have. But it also can be named anything above it that is connected to it. Okay. For example, we could name this rectangle a parallelogram or a quadrilateral. I could name this rhombus a parallelogram or a quadrilateral. Or a kite. I can name this kite a quadrilateral. So there are different ways you can name shapes, and the specific name you can give them is at the bottom of this. So this might be something I took a little time studying and kind of trying to reason through why there are names of things. Go back to that first video, look at the definitions of shapes, and try to make a little bit of sense of this. But the biggest thing that you kind of need to take away from this chapter, guys, in this lesson, is that there are specific names for different quadrilaterals, and can you name them more than one thing? Okay.